tactics. The 2024-25 season for Tottenham Hotspur was a tactical confusion. They lifted the UEFA Europa League trophy, ending a 17-year wait for silverware, yet domestically collapsed, finishing 17th in the Premier League with just 38 points, their worst top-flight tally in nearly 5 decades. The problem? Systemic tactical failure, especially in defense. Postecoglou's commitment to a high defensive line often backfired. When their press failed, Spurs were left completely exposed, vulnerable to long balls and fast transitions. The 4-2 loss to Brighton summed it up: disorganized, outpaced, and lacking awareness, with huge spaces left between the lines. Against Wolves, they conceded twice late on, showing mental lapses and a lack of game management. Many questioned if Thomas Frank was the answer, but with Brentford, he showed how to build a defensively solid, tactically disciplined unit with limited resources. Spurs have the young talent. What they lacked was structure. And that's exactly what Frank brings. Unlike managers who rigidly stick to one formation, Thomas Frank thrives on tactical adaptability. He doesn't just have a plan A. He's always ready with a plan B and even a plan C, adjusting systems mid-match if needed. Frank tailors his setup to exploit the opponent's weaknesses and shut down their strengths. This flexibility is what sets him apart. At Brentford, he built one of the Premier League's most organized defensive units, disciplined in both a mid and low block, forcing teams wide and limiting central penetration. His players press with purpose, whether high or deep, often going man-to-man without conceding unnecessary fouls. In fact, Brentford committed the fewest fouls and conceded the fewest penalties last season. Their defensive efficiency was elite, conceding the lowest post-shot XG per shot on target, 0.26, in the league. And let's not forget his obsession with set pieces. Brentford scored 4 goals directly from throw-ins last season. For a Spurs side lacking structure and set-piece threat, Frank could be the perfect upgrade. Now watch this moment. Son receives the ball with his back to goal. Immediately, that spells trouble. Brighton's press is tight, intense, and well-organized. Every Spurs player around him is tightly marked. Son has no clean outlet. His only real options are to send it back to the goalkeeper or force a pass to a teammate already under pressure. Tottenham tried to form a triangle, but it's flawed from the start. The angles are off, there's no third-man run, and no one is providing an overload. It's not a functioning shape, it's a panic response. Son delays, loses the ball, and Brighton punish them instantly. Now observe the contrast. Brighton recovered the ball and immediately formed clean, crisp triangles. One-touch passing, fluid movement, and clear purpose. Every pass has a next move built into it. This isn't just talent, it's training. It's the result of hours on the training ground, drilling patterns and pressing traps. And it's exactly what Thomas Frank builds. At Brentford, he crafted a similar system. Intelligent positioning, composed build-up, midfield overloads, all from a limited budget. His teams understand structure, not just going forward, but also when defending. That's why Spurs are looking at him. Tottenham have talent, young players with energy and technical ability. But what they lack is shape, identity, and discipline. Frank brings all of that. He builds teams that know when to press, when to drop, and how to support each other with triangles and passing lanes. Still think young squads can't win trophies? Just look at PSG's youth revolution. It's not about age, it's about structure, clarity, and trust. And remember that player Spurs ignored on the far post? Under Thomas Frank, that player gets found. Every time. That's the kind of system Spurs desperately need. That's why Spurs want him. With young, quality players, Frank's system could transform Tottenham, bringing identity, organization, and clarity. Tottenham's defense last season? All over the place. Just look at the game against Brighton. The back line was disorganized, full of gaps. You had 4 Spurs players all ball-watching Estupiñán, while 3 Brighton players sat unmarked in dangerous zones. One pass, and João Pedro slices through them. The ball rebounds to Welbeck, and suddenly it's chaos. This wasn't just one mistake, it was a pattern. Poor awareness, no one tracking the spare man, and zero communication. Then look at their midfield structure. It existed, but only on paper. There was space behind the midfielders just begging to be exploited. Brentford, under Thomas Frank, had a plan. Spurs didn't. One simple pass could unlock the entire defensive unit. That's the difference between organization and wishful thinking. Even in possession, Spurs struggled. He makes structure work, even with limited resources. Now check out Brentford defending deep against Manchester City. It's a textbook low block. Players throwing bodies on the line, staying compact. They force City wide, completely shutting down the central threat. Then, when Haaland gets the ball, the defender calmly shows him onto his weaker foot. Danger gone. That's coaching, not luck. Watch another moment. City on the attack again, but Brentford's final defender is alert. He keeps an eye on the last man while the centre-backs close off central passing lanes. City are forced wide again. That's not a coincidence. It's hours of training, drilled by Frank, turning defense into a weapon. And it doesn't stop there. Brentford destroy you on the counter. Look at Bumo. He's driving forward, defenders scrambling. He's got three options: left, right, or take the shot himself. They don't know what he's about to do. That's the beauty of Frank's system. Win the ball, break fast, offer multiple threats. Under Thomas Frank, Tottenham's setup will take a more structured and compact shape compared to the high-octane chaos of Postecoglou. While the base formation is a 4-2-3-1. In possession it transforms into a hybrid 3-2-5. Vicario remains the first phase key. Calm under pressure, he'll be expected to distribute quickly and start counters, much like David Raya did under Frank at Brentford. The back line is more disciplined. Pedro Porro inverts into midfield when Spurs have the ball, helping create numerical superiority in build-up. Meanwhile, Romero and Van de Ven remain aggressive, pushing up to win duels and carry the ball forward. Romero may even step into midfield to press, while Udigi will now take a more cautious role, supporting possession and defending transitions rather than overlapping constantly. In midfield, Bissouma takes on a Norgard-like role as the anchor, breaking up play and recycling possession. Bentancur drives forward, applying pressure high up the pitch, while Maddison serves as the creative engine. He'll drift into half spaces, connect with the wide players, and combine with Solanke. Up front, Son cuts inside, using his intelligent runs to break defensive lines. Solanke fits Frank's striker profile, mobile, hardworking, and smart in the press. He links play and stretches defenses. On the right, Johnson adds verticality and energy, making dangerous runs in transition. In essence, Thomas Frank will bring a greater degree of tactical pragmatism, defensive organization, and set-piece prowess to Tottenham. Listen up, guys. If you've been enjoying the content, don't just watch and scroll, hit that subscribe button. We're building something special here, and your support really helps keep us going strong. It's not just about hitting numbers, it's about having you along for the ride as we share more stories and insights. Every subscribe is a little boost to our journey, so don't sleep on it. Join the movement and support what we're building together.